Video 2, this time we will focus on metabolism. So there are 3 different ways that we burn calories: your basal metabolism, also known as your basic metabolism, your BMR, or just your metabolism, digestion, and physical activities. So many people point to their metabolism or their BMR as being slow or being fast, hence them easily gaining weight or easily losing weight. Although your metabolism influences your body's basic energy needs, how much you are eating and drinking, along with how much physical activity you do, are probably the things that are ultimately determining your weight. So BMR, according to our book, Eat, Drink, and Be Healthy, Dr. Walter Willett says 60 to 70% of the energy that we are using, the calories that we are burning, are simply doing so just to keep our body alive. Maintaining things like our temperature, functioning of our organs, the beating of our heart, our brain's activities, such different things like that. So different factors that determine our individual BMR would include our body composition. So if you are a large person with a ton of muscle, your body is going to have to burn more calories simply to keep that body going, compared to if you're a really small person or if you're a person with not a lot of muscle. So muscle is going to require more calories burned simply to keep it going. Your sex, a male generally has less body fat and more muscle than females do, and so when we go to our calculations, you'll see that the calculation equations are different for males than females. Physiologically, our bodies are different as far as the amount of muscle mass that we have. And then also your age. As we get older, we generally have less muscle mass, and so as that muscle mass decreases and our fat matter changes, it accounts for more of our weight, and therefore then it slows down our calorie burning. So what exactly is BMR? So if we stayed in bed all day in a room that was a comfortable temperature, that would be how many calories our body would be burning just to kind of keep us going. The amount of calories required to maintain our vital functions and such at rest. If we are depriving ourselves of food in hope of losing weight, this can also, or it can decrease our BMR. So if we are depriving ourselves of food, the very minimum estimated daily caloric consumption needed not to lower our BMR would be around 1,200 calories for females and around 1,500 calories for males. And what I mean by that is if we're consuming regularly, not just like a day or two here and there, but on a regular basis, our body says, hey, we're not getting enough calories to keep our body going, therefore we need to run cooler. So I'll show you a slide on the next one for what 1,200 calories looks like, because surprisingly I would say that some of you maybe don't consume enough, and so your body is running cooler. And many others though would say, I do not struggle with not consuming enough calories. Cardiovascular exercise can increase your BMR. A regular routine of strengthening exercises, whether it is weight bearing, so body weight squats, or utilizing actual weights to increase your muscle mass, will also then increase the amount of calories burned just to keep your body going. So here's a picture. This comes from MyFitnessPal, showing you a 1,200 calorie diet. As you can see, it's not a ton of food. This is a lot of healthy food, and so if you're not eating really healthy, you can easily get 1,200 calories in a fast food meal, especially if you're getting a drink, because drinks are our hidden calories. But if you are a calorie counter or a calorie cutter, make sure that you're not dropping below that 1,200 calorie mark or 1,500 calorie mark unless you're under doctor's supervision. So there are some theories called, various theories about our weight and such. So the weight set point theory is that our body pretty much works to keep our bodies at the same weight by burning more, by burning less. It kind of wants to be at that set point. Metabolic set point is the rate at which our body is burning calories, and they can kind of adjust and change by adjusting our hunger, by adjusting our appetite, by adjusting our energy expenditure and such. So metabolic set point. Is it possible to change your metabolism? Absolutely, right? Your metabolism definitely can be changed. However, it's not a quick fix type of change. So some studies say that it takes up to 6 months or to a year to actually notice that, hey, my metabolism is changing. And so we are in a 5-week semester. Sometimes we're together in a 15-week semester, but neither of those are 6 months. And so a lot of people will have these amazing and incredible personal goals regarding their physical body or nutrition and such, and they are fantastic. However, I want you to know ahead of time, it's pretty unlikely in this 5-week course that you're going to see a drastic change externally and in your body composition and such. Even if you're really, really intentional, you will more likely be on a great track for seeing truly life-changing, healthy changes in the future. But sometimes it takes a while before you visibly see these noticeable changes. These changes take a long time. The ones, though, that take a long time are much more likely to last compared to a quick fix or a diet pill or maybe even like a saran wrap type device. So whatever your goals are, if you're trying to increase your metabolism, just fantastic. Go for it and be intentional about it. Be intentional about the exercises that you're doing, the sleep that you're getting, the amount of liquids that you're drinking, the types of things that you're consuming. But also tell yourself pretty regularly, it's going to be a long and slow process, but in the end, it's delay of gratification and it's very much worth it. So activity, higher intensity levels are going to boost your calorie burning while you are doing the movement, and also for longer. In that last video, I showed you the picture of the kindling, the firewood, and the big fire, and I said, yeah, let's try to do some higher intensity stuff so that we continue to burn calories even when we're done. As we get older, our BMR declines generally with age, so we kind of have to adjust the amount of food that we're eating and continuing to be or beginning to be active. And then sex, if we are physiologically a male, we will have less body fat generally and more muscle, and so we'll have a higher BMR than those who are females. I want to throw out this term, EPOC, excess post-exercise oxygen consumption, EPOC. It's when your metabolism remains elevated after exercise. So if you're doing some sort of exercise and then you do a boost of energy and a boost of intensity and you get your heart rate going, you're going to increase the amount of time that your metabolism is going to remain elevated after exercise because you've done a higher intensity. So what is the difference in metabolism between fat and muscle? So to keep your body going with just your basic basal metabolic rate, 1 pound of fat uses 2 kcals per day. 1 pound of muscle, though, is going to use 35 to 45 kcals per day. So what does that mean in the long run? So this is an equation. This is just per pound. So 1 pound of fat is going to use 2.1 pounds are going to be burned per pound of fat in the body, whereas 41.71 pounds per pound of muscle are going to be burned here. So what does this confusing thing mean? It means the more muscle in your body, the more that you're burning just by being alive. So if we were all together, I would stand up and then I would have a strong person, male or female, stand up next to me, and we would just stand there silently for 1 minute. And in that 1 minute, the person who has more muscle, their body is burning more calories simply by keeping them going. And so what is the end message with this? Try to do activities that increase your muscle mass. You don't need to look like Arnold Schwarzenegger, but you want to be able to pinch your arm and to feel more muscle than fat. Your body then will have a higher metabolism rate. So creeping obesity. What does this have to do with creeping obesity? If we are really, really active as young people, and then we are slowly less active and less active and less active, and we increase then our fat percentage and decrease our muscle percentage, we're going to be burning less calories, and we don't really notice it because it's a very small amount. And so I would encourage you to be active now and all throughout your life. So a lot of people ask, what is the healthy amount to lose a week? What is the healthy amount to gain a week? So most studies will say it is healthiest on our body to lose or gain no more than 1 to 1.5 pounds per week. So none of these drastic diets that are saying 5 to 10 pounds in a week of gaining or of losing are really going to be healthy for our body, or are going to be things that we can then maintain for a long amount of time. So ways to do this would ideally be to add or decrease 500 calories a day each day. Otherwise, you're continuing to be active and such. You're continuing to be consuming good types of foods and such. And so a very small change of 500 calories a day can help you to lose or gain that 1 pound to 1.5 pounds per week. So remember, though, that the estimated very minimum that we should have is 1,200 calories for females and 1,500 calories for males before we would then lower our metabolism rates, which we don't want to do. So again, our bodies are going to be running cooler if we're severely restricting our caloric intake. And so it's going to be reducing the effects of those calories. We're not going to be burning as many calories simply by being alive, because we are essentially in starvation mode. So be careful with consuming too many calories, but also be very careful and aware of consuming not enough calories. Okay, so there are some different formulas. We're going to use one of these formulas, and I would like you to find out what your actual BMR is. You don't need to pause this video yet. I'll go over it a little bit and then show you an example. So one thing I want you to remember is this calculation will show you this calculation is showing you how many calories you're burning, which is about 60 to 70% of the total calories you burn throughout the day. So you still then have choices because we're burning more calories than just our BMR. So in this equation, it does not take into account the amount of muscle or the amount of fat that you have in your body. So it will be pretty accurate if you are, I would say in quotations, a fairly normal, you're not overly muscular or overly fat. If you're quite lean, then your body would need more calories. If you are not quite lean and you have a heavier percentage of fat in your body, then you would need less calories than what this equation will have you do. So I'll explain this a little bit, and then I'd like you to pause. So your BMR, so remember, males generally have a higher percentage of muscle than females, hence the difference. So the first thing that you'll need to do is to write down your weight. So I'm showing you here, multiply it by what you need to do. Convert your height into inches. So if you are 5 foot 8 inches, that would be 60, which is 5 feet plus 8, 68 inches. Do that. Remember, you do the parentheses first. Sorry, that was for height, and then your age, and then you could take this, and this, and throw it into your calculator. So the example here is a female who is 5'8", who is 20 years old, who weighs 150. She will be burning 1,500 calories simply by keeping her body going. A male who is the same age, same height, same weight will be burning around 1,700 calories. So the factors that play the biggest role in your BMR are your weight. Remember, though, it's not taking into account your amount of muscle mass and fat ratio, your height, which you cannot change, and then your age. As we age, our BMR goes lower. So the next way that we can burn calories is by digestion. So if you were to consume 2,000 calories a day, 200 of those calories would be burned simply by digesting food. While we're chewing, our body is having to work to digest the food that we're consuming. Not something that I would pay a ton of attention to, though. And then physical activity. This is the single most important component of caloric expenditure that you have full control of. So you are in control of how much you are moving throughout the day. All physical activity burns additional calories throughout the day, whether you're a tapper, whether you like to stand and walk, whether you like to move a lot, whether you're a jitter, whether you actually go out and do intentional activities, or whether you clean your house, do the drums, whatever it is. So how can you increase the amount of calories that you're spending throughout the day? We have talked about this a couple of times already with our motivational quiz and such, using the stairs instead of the elevator, standing while doing your homework, parking further away, making it fun. What do you currently do that you could change just a little bit, a small slight tweak that you could become then more active? What do you currently do? I just asked this, but what do you currently do that could be changed a little bit just to make yourself a little bit more active? We're pretty sedentary human beings, and our bodies want us to be moving. Okay, question for you. What is the best form of exercise? This would be another pair and share, but because we're not together, I will tell you the answer. If you will do it, it is the best. What do I mean? So many people are so inactive, and so whatever they are willing to do is so good. If you like running, go running. If you like jump roping, jump rope. If you like surfing, surf. If you like Dance Revolution or any of those things, or if you like making TikTok videos, if you love gardening, whatever it is that you love, if you're actually doing it, continue to do it. So remember you did the motivations for physical activity questionnaire. If you find that one of these was really high, I would highly suggest that you choose something for your activity log that's going to correlate with the thing that you are most likely to continue doing, right? We are wanting to build good habits during this 5-week course together. Why do we exercise? Why do we talk about that? Well, one, hopefully you're feeling a sense of fun. You're choosing things that you enjoy to do. These release of positive endorphins, helping you mentally, decreasing depression and such. It's stressful relieving. You feel better about yourself physically, psychologically, self-confidence-wise. But then we're also decreasing our chance of future diseases and such, right? We're designed to be very active. So it enhances motivation, it increases our self-perception and esteem, it improves our moods, which those around us probably are joyful about, it improves our emotional being, reducing our stress and anxiety, reducing our levels of depression and such, delaying and preventing certain degenerative processes. Okay, we're going to end by talking about stress. So there are positive stresses in our life called eustress, and there are negative stresses in our life called distress. Beneficial stresses could be like maybe a strength training workout. So it's a positive stress for our life. Maybe a challenging homework assignment that isn't too hard, but it isn't too easy. Falling in love could be a eustress, a positive stress. A negative stress could be getting in a car accident, losing a loved one. So we have this healthy stress, eustress, giving us a sense of fulfillment, and we're each going to perceive stress differently. Some people riding a roller coaster would be very distressful. For others, it would be very eustress. Maybe a scary movie would be a horrific thing for some, while for others it would be this fantastic thing. How do we handle our stress, though? So there are 5 ways here. I'm going to end with this. I would like you to look at each of these, and I want you to think about a few of these and what is something that you could do this week intentionally to take a deep breath, to slow down, to be intentional and a little bit more mindful, maybe to write down a few things that you're grateful for, maybe to socialize with real human beings. I know it's a little hard right now with COVID. But not so much time on social media, but maybe actually picking up the phone and calling or talking to somebody at the park. Being more intentional about exercising and moving, maybe trying to go to sleep and getting 8 hours would be fantastic. Practicing self-awareness, taking responsibility of your emotional and physical well-being. I wish you all the best with this.